What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. Right now, I'm feeling like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Weisz.
Hey, everybody. This is John Corcoran with Dr. Jeremy Weisz, and this episode is a little bit different. This is a live interview that we recorded at the Global Leadership Conference from Entrepreneurs Organization, where some of the best entrepreneurs from around the globe gathered in Washington, D.C. to share ideas and to learn about entrepreneurship. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Rise 25, where we help B2B businesses to give to and to connect to their Dream 100 relationships and partnerships, helping you to run a podcast so that it generates a referral pipeline and ROI.
Yeah, I mean, John, after both of us have been podcasting for over a decade, the number one thing in our life is relationships. And we're always looking at ways to give to our best relationships. And we found no better way to do that over the past decade than to profile the people and companies we admire and shout from the rooftops what they're working on. And this interview is no different. So if you've thought about podcasting, you should go to rise25.com to learn more, or email us at support@rise25.com.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the interview.
Enjoy. All right, Jeremy Weisz here. We're live from GLC from EO, brought to you by Rise 25. I'm here with Will, and Will, tell people a little bit about your company and what you do.
Will Scott with TheCultureFix and TheCultureFix.academy. And what we're about is helping 10,000 companies and their million associates have a $1 billion impact on the world with increased profitability. Why? So that their employees are loyal, fulfilled, and engaged.
There was a lady in a company from Minnesota.
Yes. Oh, yes, Katie Sandquist from Tavera in Minneapolis. Yes, like the quick sort of 101 on her story.
Yeah, what was she experiencing when she came to you?
Oh, well, actually, so what I find is so we're in the culture business, and a lot of companies that already have a great culture, they're the ones that want to invest and make it even better because they know the value of it. I wish all those companies with really lousy cultures, would want to work on this stuff too. But anyway, we always measure things, and we measured her culture, and it came out on the NPS score of a 65. And by the time we were finished with our program, just 4 months later, she was at a 90. Her employees was scoring on the NPS scale, which is a testing scale, a 90 for how they felt the culture was in their company.
What's, I always hear companies, they want to do the NPS, but they're not sure how to get people to, I guess, adhere to it. What's the best way to actually implement an NPS in a company? Well, you get this question a lot.
Yeah, actually, it's very, very easy because almost every survey tool has a drop-down menu that just says you can select the NPS score, and the survey tool will do the rest for you. But it's just a really, really good way to get a measurement on how your employees are feeling about a number of things. One of the questions we like to ask is, how likely would you be to refer working at our company to your best friend? And on a score of 10, they'll rank that on a 10, and that tells the employer a lot about just how great their culture is and whether their current employees would refer friends to join that company.
The NPS score went up a lot. What were one or two things that you ended up helping them with?
Yeah, so I do specifically have these 9 deeds in 90 days that I recommend business owners implement to go from simply having core values to truly having a value culture. I know most EOs have core values, but very few of them, in my experience, have a valued culture. And one of the things I do is we also test is how many of the core values can any given employee remember and use in conversation. And I find that on average, only half the employees can name only half the values. So immediately you're only getting a quarter of the potential of these words that you've so carefully crafted. So we have a number of things. I can't go through all 9, of course, but one of the favorites that Katie certainly made a lot of use of was the core chart. And the core chart answers all the big strategic questions for the employee, the what, when, where, why, how, etc. And one of the hows, of course, is the values. How do we want to work together? What's our code of conduct for how we work together? And the other major thing that Katie went big on was the purpose, giving meaning to her employees as to how the work they do has a good impact in the world. In their case, they make software for social workers. And so what was exciting for them was to put a purpose to that, which is we serve those that serve others. Why? So they can serve better. And so now the service mentality is going all through the organization, and they are about having 250,000 helping professionals, therapists, giving therapy to their clients without doing a lot of admin time. More therapy, that's how they're doing more good for the world. And it just changes the paradigm about how people feel about the work they do. I'm not just writing code. I'm actually...
There's a purpose.
There's a purpose. I'm serving those that serve others. Why? So they can serve better. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So, Will, where can people learn more? And I know you have a book.
Yes, 2 books now, actually.
And I've actually read it.
Thank you, Jeremy. The Culture Fix. Of course, it's available on Amazon. That's the textbook. Do these things in this order and get this predictable result with your culture. And then we have the Gift of Culture, which is the fable version. Coach going into a company.
I have to get that one.
It's a story. It's fun. And it's a coach going into a company, working with the CEO, implementing basically the teachings from the Culture Fix and getting, a great result with their culture. Yeah.
So where people can find you online?
Check us out at TheCultureFix.academy. You can get me at will@TheCultureFix.academy.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jeremy.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I'm feeling like 100 grand.